is the way to do this, you've got this carriage on, right? And actually the first way you want to do it is you probably want to insert the lead screw through here, right? Probably from this end. Then you want it through the actual nut. Threaded through the IS nut, screwed down, and then into the motor, which is ready over here.
So I would definitely mount the motor first with the coupling on it, and then just slide the lead screw through here. And it might even help to have this pushed all the way
back here,
so you wouldn't have to screw it through as much.
Although once you've got it screwed through a little bit, you can always pull it back then.
Yeah, true.
So let's actually move it over here so it's easiest to get it in this end.
I like that idea better.
Okay, so
should we install the lead screw first then?
We'll show us in screwing the. We may actually have to take the nut out of that printed housing just so we can demonstrate that. Although we may wind up going with non-printed housings just because that's higher quality stuff.
We're definitely gonna have metal.
Yeah.
I gotta replace that 3D printed housing ASAP.
Should we?
No, I'm saying, wouldn't it be easier to slide the lead screw in there a little ways, install the thing here, and then push the lead screw through?
I think
and pull
it's easiest to install it first, slide the lead screw in, and rather than fucking around trying to screw this in with a lead screw halfway through here, install it first, then push the lead screw in. Just thread it on a little bit.
You're missing my point. What I'm saying is, wouldn't it be easier to put just a little bit of the lead screw through there and then do all your stuff and install it, instead of trying to slide the whole frickin' lead screw all the way through?
Well, the great thing is you can slide this up here, slide the lead screw through, thread it in just a little bit, and then you can move the action of this to pull it all the way through while keeping it straight and not bending anything.
It's the pulling it all the way through part that I'm trying to avoid as potential pain in the ass slash.
The problem is
it's not really that bad. I mean, look. Okay, so
never mind.
I mean, you gotta give it a little wiggle.
Yeah, well, some of them were worse than that, so it was a thought.
We built the bushing to be fairly loose.
Well, we've built a lot of these bushings, and
many of them weren't. Yes.
And I've deburred the majority of them, so I know that there are some of them that aren't as good as the others, and would be a pain in the ass. Hence, I wanted to double check before we were in the middle of a video and it wasn't working right.
If you support this just right. If you can keep it perfectly level, which is really hard to do with just your hands, it actually slides through. You know, it's mostly binding because it's heavier on one end than the other.
My concerns have been alleviated.
I mean,
you know, we need to test these bushings before any of them get mailed out, just with a piece of IGUS lead screw.
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We basically...
I just wanted to... I figured you probably had.
It's no tighter than that. That's the tightest you want it, because it will get in the mechanical bind.
All right, so
it actually was tighter. We actually, when we drill those out and ream them, they're a little bit tighter, and then we polish it 2 sides.
Okay. So let's take. Did you start and stop the video so there's discrete videos for the different ones, or are we gonna have to go and find the?
I did as of recent, but
just because I didn't want you to have to go and look through 45 minutes of video to find the precise start and end
points. He's gonna have to do that for a couple of these.
Okay.
He's good
for the 1.5.
He breaks the videos differently than we do, but he knows how to do it anyway.
Yeah, okay, if he's got a method that he wants to use, then I'll just let out.
Well, we got software, and he knows how to use it.
Okay. I was thinking,
better than we are.
Do we need the little Hollywood cut blocks?
Nah. I would say, I was thinking about this, any editing notes, we might as well say it while we're still on recording, so when he's watching the video, it tells us that the editing notes in the video. He's like, turn this part up.
I mean, he probably knows.
Stop it right
Once I got past these sets of screws, he probably doesn't need to keep the video for all of these, or at least he can time lapse.
Well, we're going to time lapse.
We keep the audio.
Yeah.
We keep the audio, I suppose, if you saying that all of them.
Well, yeah, but there was a long time when I wasn't saying anything. I was just tightening up all the
We'll time lapse that.
So yeah, you would just time lapse it or do a jump cut. One of the two.
Time lapse. Sonic screwdriver.
Really Sonic Allen key though, right?
Not if you edit a little screwdriver over it that bounces back and forth. But the screwdriver could handle that anyway.
Okay, where is our... We had it sitting here and it got moved when we moved...
It might help if you said what it is.
The
y-axis.
Y-axis. nut holder thing, spacer thing. It's black with a
The fuck is
orangish
it?
Igus looking deal stuck to it. It's right there.
There it is.
So all this really needs to be,
Dude, we really need to.
all this really needs to be is another piece of 90-degree channel like this, with the right hole pattern, and a through hole that lines up to this, and you know, a
With
hole
the
pattern.
proper holes to bolt
Yeah.
it in place.
Not, you know, excessively difficult for a machine shop like us to set up.
Not at all.
Maybe
Yeah, what we can do is take another one of these and just cut it down where it sits over.
well,
Nice catch.
Don't get too excited.
you would more likely do it this way, so you can put a hole through it and have it slide in from the side, maybe? I don't know.
Anyway,
I think L channel like this is cheaper and probably easier too.
you know what? I got modify one of these. We also have the 1/8 inch wall thickness too of this tubing. Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad. Just cut it.
But you'd still have a 3D printed block in here to go with.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
to
just
go with an
go-
all
yeah.
metal. We would really want an all metal system where it just
well, do we
screws
need
on.
all metal? I mean,
It looks better.
yeah, but if it costs an extra $50 to make.
Well, I mean, by the time we're putting metal on, you might as well make it all metal if a smaller piece of metal can do the job as well. How much does it cost per bracket to make these?
well,
I think I like his plan better with the C channel though. It'll just look cleaner and better. I mean, we can do this. We can do the same thing you're saying with
This
the C
is-
channel and not necessarily have any 3D printed parts in it. But I do think the C channel with the coverage on both sides would just look cleaner as far as aesthetics goes.
The other thing it's going to be tricky is, yeah, the C channel is just barely too narrow
well,
Put it the other way.
for the, I guess, that way is works. At which point, yeah, okay, you're drilling through it and doing the exact same thing I would have us do with the L brackets, just with this. I think
Right.
the L brackets are probably cheaper. And you don't need to drill 2 holes, you just need to drill 1. Because in that case, this back half isn't doing anything, and neither is this top half. So the L channel
It's
is
just
shorter.
making it look nicer.
So you're saying 2 L channels?
No, just
Or
one
just
piece
one?
of L channel right
Yeah,
here.
okay, I got
Just
you.
one.
He's saying just one piece like this, except instead of the hole being so big,
Yeah,
it's
it
the
fits
proper
for the-
size to fit the.
Yeah.
Ow!
I'd still think a 3D printed.
Sure, this
cover
3D
to the
printed
back.
setup will
yeah.
be cheaper, but this isn't as
No, I'm talking about with the L channel because the back end is gonna look weird.
He's talking about like those down there, like you're doing down here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, something kind of like that, but
we could print we could 3D print a cover that goes over it, but I think if we try it, we'll find it doesn't look that weird. But
I don't know. Maybe we should hold off on this one video until we'll just
Have something.
We'll make something. Yeah.
it's just because all metal looks better than
Yeah.
This is easier because it's completely
This is
contained.
kind of ugly. Like this
Yeah.
is like the short bus, you know.
And that
Yeah,
wasn't so
yeah.
bad on the previous prototypes, but this is our flagship
Oh yeah,
model.
this is.
I still wonder if we shouldn't do something about this, even though we probably can't.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you want to do?
At least
If we could have a metal bracket that does the interface from this to that, it
Oh.
would be nicer, but it's probably not easily doable.
Well, this is kind of modular. So if you go with a different lead screw or lead
You can
screw
print
nut,
up something
you
different,
just print
yeah.
up. You just change that. So it still has the rigidity because it's in house and encased in this
Mm-hmm.
the metal C carriage. But you have the flexibility of the shape design. You know.
Not only that, but I think the plastic like that is a lot easier to fit back and forth together.
I think the other thing is the time you would really care about plastic like this would be when you go to a flange nut or whatever, I guess nut that isn't already plastic anyway.
Yeah.
Because this needs to be because this will periodically wind up being
We do
replaced.
have a problem on these nuts.
Yeah, are they wearing out?
No, it feels like Okay, so the first set of lead screw nuts we used on the other machines were machined, right? And they were really tight, and there was like zero backlash.
This one's got backlash. I can feel it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
That's
so,
a huge fucking problem. That's a lot of fucking backlash.
I know. We're gonna have to modify it. There are two things we do. We go with a different nut, or we modify this nut and make it an anti-backlash nut.
How do we modify it?
We saw cut it and put a tensioner. We saw
put
cut
a spring on it.
and then put a spring on it.
Oh, that sounds like a pain in the ass.
Could
we do two of these nuts in opposition?
The backlash is more radially than axially. So
that's axial backlash right there, and that's at least a couple millimeters of it. Well, maybe not at least, but that's a millimeter.
I mean, yeah, I think it's caused from side to side though.
I'm controlling for side to side pretty well right here. You know? That looks pretty axial to me.
Now, I called Aegis up, right?
Yeah.
And so they have two different styles of this nut. They have the one that's already flat, right? Okay, so we got the round one,
right,
like this, and then you got the one that has the flats already on it. The one that has the flats is still machined. These, they just recently started getting injection molded. But the tolerances is different on injection.
Okay, so we need to go with the ones that were the flats, and... Alright.
Which is no big deal.
Alright, and it's even easy to swap out.
Yeah, but it does make things a little more complicated.
Well, the question is, can we, with the machine as it is now, make it accurate parts with that backlash on there?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to print it and measure it, and yeah, it's definitely not looking good.
Supply chain fucking management. This is why Elon makes all his own goddamn parts.
Well, so the problem is we designed a machine around the available components. You know, what we designed this. What the first rev was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So we designed everything based off this lead screw.
It could be worse. We could be shipping a bunch of printers and they change it on us.
Yeah, and then they changed the manufacturing process, and now we're not.
And don't bother to tell anybody.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's going to be like 10 times more backlash.
Thanks, man.
Actually, I mean,
well, you can't call it.
It's
specifically advertised as zero backlash, which is clearly fucking bullshit.
I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue. We got, I can easily modify these.
The other thing we can do is we could buy a second nut and have two nuts pushed against each other by springs.
we can modify this where it
by
was
cutting
two
it in
nuts.
half. Yeah. There's a wear rate question there. Will get interesting.
Pretty sure there was a D's nuts joke in there somewhere too.
Yeah. You think so?
Maybe just a little bit.
Think you fit that in there?
Oh, D's nuts. Oh, jeez. Well, okay. I guess we can put off that video.
I was just gonna run it how it is.
We'll give it a try. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I want to measure how much backlash is in there, but there's obviously backlash.
We'll benchmark it.
Yeah.
Well, we got one video.
But I'm pretty confident it won't be that hard to. We can modify these nuts to make anti-backlash nuts. We definitely don't want to buy anti-backlash nuts from.
Non-anti-backlash nuts, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the price, man, they're expensive. They're wanting like, it was like 3 times as much
as the flat, just the flat-sided ones.
Mm-hmm.
For their version of the anti-backlash?
Yeah, the sawed in half version. By the time you got 3 times as much, you can buy 2 of the ordinary ones and spring load.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Well, what material are those made out of anyway?
I guess stuff.
Oh, it's some
they
kind
don't
of
talk about.
proprietary, self-lubricated polymer.
I guess stuff.
Yeah.
They call it like I guess P-Glide or something like that.
No, it's the.
There's probably a D's Nuts joke in their catalog too.
It's Dry Glide, I think.
Drylin, I think it was like Dry Linear or I don't know. It might have been iGlide. I think there were a bunch of different trademarks. Oh, jeez.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, right.
just I mean, yeah, we are in camera, so. This guy's
If
got.
Derek was here, and all I gotta say, if Derek was here, he would have a field
Jump
day.
all over that, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's got all the dirt on us.
I know,
when we're a
right?
really successful company.
Oh, I just put it on the computer, so.
He doesn't have all the dirt on us. The internet has all the dirt on us.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll make a video with this when we get that component.
That should be. The only question is, how tall is this exactly? Because I know we printed it, but I also know that, prints never come out exactly that. You can see it's warped a little bit.
Yeah.
So what height is it in practical terms? You might want to put make everything slightly oblong with slots and stuff. So,
Yeah.
you're not bending your lead screw trying to get it to.
Well, I mean, that's a good
center.
idea to have some kind of way to adjust it. Well, you can run into a big problem on the y-axis with mechanical bond. If there's no room for adjustment, what will happen is, because they're 3D printed parts, when you move it all the way close, you'll start getting somewhat of mechanical bind. It always does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on how much torque, amperage you're sending to the motors, it either just push through that, or it can actually cause issues.
But of course, it's increasing nut wear too.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. We can go and get gaps in the mill's machining schedule.
We got time.
Okay,
We
so
got-
we
we
could
got time.
machine something like this
We
tomorrow.
can machine it tomorrow.
Cool. All right.
But we can't actually machine it tomorrow
What?
until we get the actual other nuts in, correct?
No, we machine.
No, we'll make it. We'll make it for working with this nut.
You'll make it. You'll make it
so
to
the
work
ones
with.
that are flattened on the edges.
You'll make it to work with these nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, with these nuts. The good thing is the ones with the flats on them have the same hole pattern, so we would just not use 2 of the holes, and the
Yeah.
rest of them are fine.
I mean, 2 holes would be enough, man.
Derek was fucking here. Shop's not the same without him.
I know, right?
That's totally gonna have to be a video at some point. Is a montage of. Damn it, Derek!
A compilation.
Yeah.
A Derek compilation. It'd be like the 12 inevitable walls of Derek. Derek's wall 10.
Always Derek.
If something breaks, Derek did it.
So what's
Alright.
this extra thermistor doing up here? Hanging out.
It's just chilling. That's the,
Hey guys, got
Yeah.
an extra thermistor. Maybe you need to measure the air.
yeah, right.
Got a cell phone.
There's going to be a second hot end on here.
Yeah.
Basically, we wired everything up. We were
I do like what you did here with the
dude, that's fucking Augustine's design. That's fucking brilliant. It's
something a
all low
little
profile.
something a little stiffer.
I really
might be
like
in
that.
order,
Here,
but it's not
Aussie,
mechanically
look at
involved.
this.
So
So this is Augustine's probe mount design. I like it. It's simple and compact, cheap.
man, if
Easy
you
to
think
make.
probe mount is funny, then you've really got to start getting into rocketry because
No, I think it's funny because he said, "This is Augustine's probe mount design," and I laughed because it was his design, but I made it, so it was funny. It was indeed his design. I followed what he wanted me to do. Made me laugh because I don't know if Shane realizes that or not, but just the way he belatedly said "design" made me chuckle. It was not a
hey, we got these new bridge
conversion
style
joke.
ones done, right?
No, those.
Those were for the
Those ones
UK
somebody else.
guys.
That's
They've already
right.
shipped.
Yeah. Oh, we need to make some. Yeah, we'll make some of these too.
We
Yeah,
still
that's
need
right.
another-
You got a different size. Didn't
We
you?
still need another extrusion over here for the one on this side. If you're putting one on this side, and if you're gonna still use this extrusion for the extrusion.
Yeah, we need a whole other extrusion. Cause we're gonna have one in the middle.
To mount the extruder.
And we're probably gonna bridge this one over.
Hey, have we definitively decided that Bowden's where it's at?
No, you haven't.
What?
To be honest, I think I'm gonna have.
Oh.
I was thinking about having a direct drive, like one direct drive extruder, and then like 5 Bowdens or something.
Because that would just be a different plate here with some extra holes for mounting a direct drive system.
Exactly.
That Bondtech BMG seems like a pretty good extruder.
Dude, that Bondtech's pretty solid, man.
Yeah. We had to get used to it and get it calibrated right, but after that I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, we really do need to fix the position at Bowden tube.
Okay.
I think I'm using like cheap, like Bowden tube I got off eBay. With tolerances, you want to have really tight tolerances on the ID.
Bowden tube, got it. All right.
And ours over there, we're using like cheap ass Bowden tube, and it's like way too long. Plus, it's yeah, I mean, if we positioned it where the extruder was more like in the middle, you could shorten it up.
You can get it.
You know?
It's just this distance rather than
Yeah, exactly. The
this
tube's gonna be
distance.
like that long, you know.
You got a fly swatter or something?
Uh,
You're gonna kill that thing.
no, I don't think I do. I have one of those electric ones somewhere, but that's somewhere.
Not here.
No, I just don't know where
Not
it
anywhere.
is. I don't feel like looking for it because it'd probably take me 10 minutes.
Remember, in England, they brought in those electric fly swatter things, but actual ordinary fly zapper lanterns are actually fairly rare there.
What?
Yeah. And they were kind of a recent thing, too, but when some of my friends from England saw that, they're like, that's one of the more redneck things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah? That's funny.
I mean, when you think about it, just a big blue light with a whole shitload of electric charge that just fries things all night is fairly redneck.
Yeah.
Hey
You
now.
can see where they're coming from.
Who doesn't like a midnight snack?